speaking of, I spoke with somebody a few days ago. It was somebody in my stream who said that they were watching my stream specifically because they were waiting up to half an hour between matches for Virtua Fighter because that game is just already done. Like, just, it's already just completely fallen off.
Any lessons to be learned from the situation, or we just gave it our best and I guess the people just...
Is that Sega shit with Harada in the news?
No, I missed it. What are we talking about?
Oh, so they interviewed somebody from Virtua Fighter on Harada's like bar thing, you know, where you're talking about fighting games, and flat straight out, he's like, yeah, Sega of America like was begging us every day to use rollback, but Sega of Japan was like, nah. And then it's listed as in, like, you know, when they describe it, the actions in the transcript, and it says gives bitter smile.
Word.
So, like, the team and Sega of America are like, can we do it? And Sega of Japan's like, no. No, we're gonna do this server thing.
He admitted that they begged... Oh, my...
And then Harada starts talking about how, like, everybody says that netcode is the rollback, but really there's things you just can't change, like packets, and he's going on in his bullshit, and the Sega man is just like, just dying in his heart and his eyes.
We need the dinosaurs purged. We need that fucking asteroid more than ever. Holy shit. It's the same story for the third time this week. It's the same story. It's the same thing.
Sega's
dinosaurs
Sega
must go. Meteors, please.
Extra crazy.
Summon Meteor. Madara. Double it. Madara and fucking Sephiroth. Just call it. Call it. Time. Let's go. What are we doing?
When I was talking about this on Twitter, people were like, oh, why won't they listen to Sega of America? Why does Sega of Japan always do this? Which led me to start talking about, like, most people don't even know how bad Sega actually is internally. I have heard so many stories of people in their offices just watching as dudes are pulling Dreamcast Gold Masters out of their desks and snapping them in half, and like putting documentation for like the old Phantasy Star games into shredders and just destroying everything they ever made for no reason.
Just
like I bring it up. Has anyone ever noticed that Sega keeps putting out the same like 25 Genesis games literally every 3 or 4 years in a collection, and it's literally always the same ones? And it's because those are the ones that the publishers or the developers, for whatever reason, kept, because the Genesis library was actively destroyed. It was ground up into dust and burned. Dude. Why? Because the Yakuza that run that company thought Nintendo was going to steal the secrets to Altered Beast.
I mean, like, the poor Sega America reps just sweating like Gil, you know, just on the phone, just, oh God, why are we even doing this? Like,
I remember, like,
what can we say?
Oh God, how many years ago? This is one of the remember the PAX that me and Liam went to that you guys didn't?
Yeah.
How many years ago was that? Like 6-7 years ago?
Must be a while ago.
We ran into Gio Corsi, who was at the time doing that thing about bringing
PlayStation
things
Indies.
over. And we asked him, "Hey man, when's PSO2 gonna come over?" And he looked like he wanted to run away from us. And like he just like kind of deflated and was like, just if it does, it was because of me. Just remember that. And that's all he would tell us. But he I can't even imagine. And then you see when PSO2 did finally come over, it was Microsoft had to literally pay for the entirety of the English translation out of pocket for an exclusivity window of like a month. Do you remember that? Like,
no.
Like Sega of Japan is the craziest of them all.
It's fucking insane. Meteor, please. Why so slow?
Meteors are actually really fast. They're just far away.
Just cleanse this Triassic period, and bring us forward.
I'm surprised nobody sent that to you. Like I'll try and get the direct quote.
But you know what? Like at least it's like so that's that's further proof of like the internal battle happening everywhere, right? Like it's not just this weird one-sided thing of Western fans yelling and then like it hits the windows of the office and that's it. Like no, inside the people that are there that get it understand that you're sending a product out to die, and it's an already dead franchise, and you just want to get it in people's hands in some way where they can enjoy what it offers in a time when the only thing that matters is the online play. The only thing in that entire game that matters at all.
All right, I have the gentleman. It's
boy.
Sokyu, Gosokkyu. Harada asks about netcode method and whether or not they've used rollback. Aoki confirms it's not rollback, despite Sega of America's regular requests for them to add rollback. It's essentially the same delay-based P2P method that was used for the PS3 360 versions of Final Showdown. They, mostly Harada, explain how retrofitting rollback into 3D fighting games is tough because they're presupposed on fluid animations compared to the limited 2D. Again, Harada says how there's all sorts of little things you would see the rollback of, blah, 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 blah. You can't do it in Soul Calibur. You can't do it in Tekken 7. It's mostly Harada talking. Aoki, the Sega gentleman, says they conducted weekly international tests for Virtua Fighter's esports netcode. He thinks that their implementation was the best option given the circumstances, and that they were using VF5 as a base, and that Sega of America staff were surprised and convinced it would be okay once they actually tried it. That is a lie.
Look, man.
That is a lie.
All I can say is at least we live in an age of fine, I'll do it myself. You know?
Yeah.
You could just march forward and like make your own shit that works, and everyone will ignore what doesn't, and that will be the end of that. They will be too busy spending their time cutting out the actors from the photos that are going online, like with a pair of scissors, because you can't use Photoshop because that's too digital.
It's too much. I've spoken in my career, air quotes. I don't know what to call it anyway, but I've spoken to people at a lot of American companies like the American branches of Japanese companies. A long time ago, I spoke with people at Capcom. I spoke to a guy who worked at Nintendo. I spoke to a guy who worked for the Pokemon Company, etc. And it's like a universal experience where you ask them what it's like dealing with their Japanese parent company, and that vein that they all gain starts to twitch in their forehead, and they just kind of stare straight ahead, and they go, it's great working with them. We're doing the best we can. Ha.
Yep. I talked too much about that Seth Killian back in the day, and you know, his talking about choosing his battles, you know, but it really is like that, man. It really is just this like there's a nervous energy with everything of like we're doing our best to get the point across and a fraction of it is really landing, and you know, hey, I hope you still support the product. Yay.
Yeah, there's always a nervousness and like are you gonna cry? Are you gonna burst into tears?
Because the answers to multiple genres, to multiple things in this industry, to multiple games and franchises and IPs, the answers are not always so simple, you know? Like, people weren't even crying out for a brand new Virtua Fighter at that point, right? It was just and like it was already free in the Yakuza games. Anyway, all right, whatever.
Oh man, this whole interview is like Harada like white knighting Sega for deciding not to use rollback.
Because we already know based on the previous interview how he fucking feels on it, and then, you know, you're not really gonna get anyone pushing you know, the feeling forward. Like, I know like the first or second episodes had some actual like Japanese FGC players show up to the bar and were hanging out while Ken Kutaragi was calling them young pups or whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are the people that you want to have there. You want to have Ita's Bashizangi for something like that in the interview, just going, if I may, with the most polite, you know, usage of the terms possible. If I may interject, Harada-san, you know, there's something to this that is more than people yelling and not knowing what they're talking about, you know?
I would like, I'm just like fantasizing in my heart about like, what if Keats just got on there and you could just have Keats talk to Harada for like 10 minutes and Harada's not allowed to like leave. Like he has to listen.
No, because it doesn't. It's not gonna flick. Because right now, like, it sounds like the energy between him and the Sega rep there, like in their heads, they're doing the fucking like the Tom Cruise laughing meme. You know what I mean? Just like they're loving the fact that like, and then they kept asking about it every day. Can you believe these fucking, you know, like
the Sega rep definitely gave off the Sega rep did not seem happy to talk about it.
Okay.
Like her was like bragging about how netcode blah blah blah, but the Sega rep is like,
you know, did the Sega America rep have to like hand over their business card and then the Sega Japan rep just crushed it?
Yeah.
You know, with a stern face while maintaining eye contact.
Harada has really become like the avatar of like he has become the swindler of progress.
You don't want to be on the wrong side of the rollback war. Like you want to like when people are yelling for rollback, if they can yell at a nebulous company logo, that's way better than having a face to yell at. It's way better. Yell at the logo, you know, yell at the let it hit this little ArcSys logo or this little Capcom logo, or, you know, you don't have to have when you have a face that responds and it has, you know, shirts that say "Don't ask me for shit," and it's like, well, fuck, it's aged like milk, you know. Anyway.
Oh.